I feel like growing up, as a kid or especially as an adult, you find yourself in situations at work or like just friends or family where you're in the heat of the moment and you want so badly to just use all of your emotion, right? Sometimes it's rage, sometimes it's sadness, sometimes it's whatever it is, and you just want to go all in, but you can't do that because that's not going to yield the result you're looking for, right? And at the end of the day, other people react and learn, and really just all of the above change in ways that are different from you. So that doesn't mean that because you might know the right answer that you should say it out loud. Because you might know what the next step is, that you should guide them. It's not always your job, right? And so you have to, I think, at least for me, I have to apply a little bit more empathy and focus a little bit more as to how they might receive the message best. And what might help get my idea or my answer or my solution across to them to where they can benefit from that and move forward and maybe help me with something in the future, So I've struggled with that. But I feel like as you get older, you and me at least, we know each other to the point where in our later 20s, we've kind of gotten to that point where we have a good understanding of that. But it feels like it should have been 10 years ago that we learned that lesson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
so it's just crazy.
But I think you brought up a great point when you said really like tailoring the message specific to how that person's going to receive the message. Because I think a lot of the times, I've definitely had the tendency of explaining it the way I want them to hear it instead of the way that they will best receive it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've always struggled with that I'll continue to be trying to work on is, Austin, don't try to prove a point. Try to help this person maybe see a new perspective if they want to see a new perspective.
Yeah.
And be open to their perspective and understanding where they're coming from, and make sure that your ultimate goal is to connect. And when this conversation is over, it should be that we've leveled up and we're on a better page, not that things have gotten worse.
And I think too, and I think you do this too, just like me, but I, even in the midst of overreacting, like I might say something or react a certain way and I gave into my emotion for that little bit of time, but then I took a second right after that and I said, you know what? Hey, I'm so sorry, Mr. or Mrs. Like, let me re-explain this. This is actually what I'm trying to get across. Here's why I'm trying to get it across. Does that resonate with you? Or tell me how I can best sort of help you solve this problem, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever that is. And I think if you, at least in my experience, if you have a little bit better of an approach, it's done a lot more for me in my relationships than not. So definitely worthwhile.
Yeah, and I think just that thought, trying to have that thought before you've said anything,
right?
That's the tough part, right?
Yeah.
Just because your emotions hit you and you want to react emotionally. But I think if you take the beat, take a second before you respond to anything, most things, especially the higher complex things, and think like, what is the outcome that I want from this? Like, what is the best possible scenario that this could end in? Like, what's the best possible ending? And then try to make sure your response is in alignment with that. Right?
Yeah.
If the best possible scenario is you guys going to get some ice cream together after this, your response probably can't be, well, F you too, right? Because that isn't going to get you to the ice cream. Right? So I think if we're just thinking of that final goal before we respond, it really helps align everything that we're doing and saying with building a connection with someone and solving a problem together as opposed to proving a point. Because a lot of times we want to prove a point and we're not actually attempting to solve anything.
Yeah.
All right?
100%.
I hear that. Coolio. All right. See you next time.
Elevate. Only obligation is to tell it straight.